Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
A good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 14 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship, the final race of the season here at the Brazilian track Interlagos Autodromo José Carlos Pache. My name is Felix van Delft, and joined in the commentary box here today with me is Alex Skinner. Welcome.
Oh boy, Felix, it has been a long while since we have done a cast with only the two of us, and it is so good to be back with you, my friend. Especially here in the World Championship, the highest level of Formula Sim racing in, I'd say, not only here in FSR, but in rFactor 2 in general. Some of the world's drivers up against each other for such a long time. And obviously, we're in the middle of qualifying at the moment, Felix, and the times, they're tumbling.
Yeah, let's have a look at the track first. Autodromo José Carlos Pache, to say it in Brazilian style. Race is going to be 71 laps long, so quite a long race. Strategies are going to be interesting. Lap is about 4.3 kilometers long. 2 DRS straights, one on the main straight and one on the straight after turn number 3. So that's the places where you probably see the most overtakes. But overtaking is tricky here. We've seen in the last 2 divisions, the Academy and the Pro Division, that there have been some incidents between drivers trying to overtake in places where you really shouldn't try it. So let's hope the World Championship drivers have themselves under control. The car, obviously, the usual suspect, 933 brake horsepowers, top speed of about 370. Today, I guess the most cars will be reaching about 330 maximum with the downforce levels that they are running here. It's about 740 kilos long. Heavy, I should say. 740 kilos long. That's interesting. 2 fuel mixtures, the lean and the rich, of course. And then the boost modes, the race and the quali boost. Last race around, our winner was Martin Golsby. Great race from him. Robin Panzer, definitely a good race for him. Could maybe have won it. Wasn't really able to do so. Finished in second eventually. And then Jurne Simoncic, obviously the 2019 champion, in third, which is definitely not a bad place to be in anyway. So let's hop into that qualifying session straight away.
Just looking at the times, Felix, obviously, as you were going through the formalities in the intro, I had a bit of a moment seeing that Sander Callas, a 106.7. Now, we were talking just pre-broadcast, we were going through all the intros and the adverts, and we expected them to get into the 0.8s, the 06.8s. Didn't expect them to be able to get into the low 06.7s. So as the track rubbers up here with about 10 minutes to go, there is that potential for some of these drivers to push themselves into those, into the 6.6, maybe even a 0.5 if the track rubbers up enough. But obviously, Sander Callas currently on pole. Great to see the Netrex back up on top on the front row of the grid. Just looking down, trying to see if anyone else is currently able to that at all. A few drivers about to start laps further down that haven't completed them as yet. But obviously, for those of you who aren't aware of the qualifying format, which by now most of you will be, it is a 12-lap format, including in-laps and out-laps, which means you get 4 runs, 4 bites at the cherry to get that all-important pole position. And around here, as Felix said, it's not that easy to overtake, but it's not that difficult either. Plenty of overtaking spots, but it's just hard to execute them. We saw an Academy, Vlad Tokarev, managing to really put some amazing overtakes around the outside of turn 6, which is, yeah, I've not wanted to ever go side by side there in my life, but he did it. He managed to make 2 overtakes work there. I'm currently having a look at Peter Burlak, the Edge Esports driver. Only 700ths down on Sander Callis as he comes... sorry, I take that back. 400ths down on Sander Callis as he comes out of Zheng Xiao, coming down towards the pit entry. So this is going to be the first timed lap for Burlak as he comes across the line. That is going to be down by a 10th. Puts him 3rd place. So Edge Esports looking strong here like they did last year. Seems that this might be one of their favourite tracks.
Yeah, obviously...
Having a...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just looking at a bit further down, looked 1 place down, Felix, and Gosby. He's 900ths up, and this might be another very, very quick lap for the Englishman. Comes across the timing beam. He goes down by a 10th. He lost the rear end just coming out of the traction zones, and that's the thing with this track I've noticed, Felix. And from the amount of testing I've done around here in all my years, it's just those traction zones are crucial. Getting a quick lap time. Well, he's going to go second either way. 700ths off a 106.782. Gosby is really putting on a charge here, and it's nice to see some names that we're not used to being up the front today, Felix.
Yeah, one of them, Kirill Birukov, currently in P7. He's on a lap, I believe. No, on an out lap. So.
He is on the lap, but he's actually up on Callis at the moment, Felix, by 3,000ths of a second.
Indeed. Good first sector. Obviously, the downforce levels are going to make a big difference here on this track. We've seen it in the Pro and Academy division as well. You can gain a lot of time by having a lot of downforce in the second sector, but you lose that time then as well in the last sector and in the first sector. So you have to balance that a bit. And the team that gets that perfectly right is probably going to be in pole today. Let's see what Birukov is able to do coming to the line now. Currently P8 moves up to P5, so not a bad position for him to be in. Still has got 2 attempts left to try and improve his time there.
Definitely, and it's great to see Kirill Birukov up there as well. One of those drivers that has shown glimpses of pace throughout the year, just not been able to put them into practice, whether, issues caused by himself, other drivers, or just, random strokes of weirdness that have occurred, just dropping him down the order. So it'd be really nice to see if he can do exactly what he did last year around the same circuit and really put in one of those strong performances. Currently looking at Robin Panzo's down his 7th now. He's equaled his best in the first sector. I believe he might be on an outlap, though. I'm not 100% sure. But he's quicker than himself, actually, in the second sector. And he's going to call that lap a day. He'll go back out straight away, I'd assume. But just having a look down... Oh, God, seeing someone have a very interesting exit through turn 1.
I'm looking at Janos Brakshuk at the moment. Decent first sector. Not the best we've seen so far, but again, could be down to the downforce levels. I think in general, Gosby have a bit more downforce than the ACRs do. So let's see. Second sector, better than Gosby. So might be able to grab that position, that second slot on the grid. Let's see what he's able to do.
Nope.
No, not.
2 tenths down in the first sector, Felix. And you were saying about Gosby not having that top speed. Well, we've seen through Academy, the one where it was very much noted, the ACR cars, the ISIMRS, they're running the same setup as the World Champ cars will be using. Well, right. they were able to, I think from quoting one of the Gosby drivers, they were able to get in the slipstream, go past them, and then pass someone else into the first corner. So, that Gosby are really struggling for top speed. ACR, the complete opposite of that at the moment. And it's going to be, as you said, it's going to be a case of who nails that balance between speed and cornering. But I think around here, it's not necessarily so bad to have a bit more of a top speed balance setup just due to the way that that middle sector is. You don't really need low speed acceleration. You can get away with having it a bit more higher geared just to enable you to get out of traction zones a bit better than your opponents.
Yeah, Sander Callas again on a good lap. First sector, 16.492. Second sector, 34.0. Banger of a second sector there. Personal improvement. 4/10 quicker than what Martin Gosby is able to do there. Now the last sector is going to be important for him. Opening up the DRS. Coming to the line. What is it going to be for him? It's going to be 106.618. Wow.
That is very close to the 105s, and he's not going to be able to improve his lap. He's got no laps left. Gosby has got a chance. Braxock has got a chance. Burlak has got a chance. And Petter Burlak is up by 7 thousandths of a second in that first sector. He's on a charge, is Petter Burlak. And I'd be very interested to see if the Edge Esports driver can manage to push his way up into that top 3. Maybe onto pole. Got the pace around here. He had it last year. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do this time by. Currently going through that second sector. That really, really tight second sector. These corners. These traction zones, so much harder to get right than you would think. They do bite you very, very hard if you get them wrong. And no, down on his time, down on Callas in the second sector. Not going to improve at the moment. Just having a look for if anyone else is going out. Well, Wojciech Lukaszek is going to go out, the second of the Ghost Speed cars here today. He's currently sat in 9th place. Be interested to see what he can do, because he's someone that has had glimpses of pace again throughout the season. Ghost Speed really getting their act together this year compared to what I remember being quite a low year for them last year in comparison to most of their campaigns here in Formula SimRacing. So it'll be really interesting to see what he can do come towards the end of the qualifying session with only 2 minutes and 15 left. So it's a one-lap dash here, Felix, and Simoncic is out on track.
Yeah, also Burlak, Brakchuk, Gosby all have 1 attempt left. So they can all still try and improve their time to get that pole position. Nick it away from Sander Callas.
I'm going to keep an eye on Jerne Simoncic. We know that he's, put these Banzai last-minute laps together, or put these Banzai qualifying laps together. So I'd be very interested to see if he could manage to do it again here today. And, well, I'm going to be paying a close eye because he's going to back off from the back of Lukaszek. Lukaszek's going to fly away into the distance. And Simoncic, your world champion this year, is getting ready for his final do-or-die lap.
Yeah, Danny van der Niet is the first to cross the line to start the last run of final laps. Let's see what he's able to do. His teammate is currently on pole position. He not so much, down in P18. Alright, let's focus on the championship leader, Jerne Simoncic. Had a bit of a moment there. You could see it on the curb in turn 2. Really not helping him.
Looked like he snatched that front left into turn 1. Didn't help the car. It unsettled it. Just made it run out slightly wide through the centre. Didn't enable him. He's going to commit a lot through 6. That is beautiful commitment. So he's up by a 10th on himself at the moment on this lap. But still down on Callas. He needs to find that time on Callas, but I think he might do it if he can hold it through here. He's got Mohamed Patel, who's going to be on his final run very momentarily, but he's going to have to get out of the way of your champion. Coming into Zheng Xiao, gets on the brakes, commits the car, wanting just to run out wide. He lets it on the power. This looks like an improvement, but he's got to find 3/10 in this final sector, Felix. I don't think it's going to be possible for Simoncic. He'll come across the line and he'll jump up to 3rd.
Gosby's second sector not good enough to challenge Callas, I think. A little bit of an improvement in the first sector, but he already knows it abandons his lap. Petter Burlak, I think the last contender that might be able to do something here. First sector,
he's up
decent.
Could be very close, down 2/10 in the second sector. Not going to be enough, but it might mean that he can improve on his position on this grid, because it is going to be very close. He's actually very close to not improving. No, he's going to bail it into the pit lane, call it a day. Ivan Lenov stepping in that Jean Alesi Esports Academy car. will put himself in 10th place on the grid. The final car locked into that tyre ruling, of which the top 10 have to start on the tyre they qualified on, of which this year, Felix, we've seen some very interesting strategy calls of people trying to not improve their laps if they're on that little cut-off.
Patel is still almost done. I think he might be able to get into the top 6 even. Let's see. Oh, no.
No,
I guess he's not.
He knows he's in 12th. He knows that no one else is going to improve. He goes, nope, I want that free choice of tyre, and bails out thinking that he was going to end up inside the top 10. And, well, with the time he was up, very much looks like he would have slot himself in 10th place exactly, Felix. So a smarter call by Patel.
Indeed. And as we finish this qualifying session, cars will be starting on pole position. Great job from the Estonian driver, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously has had some great results in the past, and looking to continue on those great results here again in Brazil. Gonna have to wait a little bit longer for to find out what he's going to do, because we're gonna go for a small break. When we get back, we are going to get racing for 71 laps around this beautiful circuit. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, maybe something to eat, and we will be back in about 5 minutes time.
Hey man, I got that new 10 Max Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
You'll let me play?
Yeah, I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race you for it.
Well, I have to have
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 14 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship, the Brazilian Grand Prix here at the Autodromo José Carlos Pache. My name is Felix van Delft, and once again, joined again by Alex Skinner. We are getting ready for this race. For those who have missed the qualifying session earlier on pole position, we have got Sander Callas. Right next to him it's going to be Martin Golsby, and then behind them Jorne Simonsjes in third position. So definitely a grid which will hopefully stir some things up. Callas, usually somebody that's quick, but in the race tends to make a mistake or two and then not really end up in that first place at the end of the race. So let's see how that ends up in the end. We're now in the warm-up session, so let's have a look at what these drivers have been doing for the last 10 minutes.
Well, the majority of them, Felix, have been running their race laps, whether on the super softs, the softs, or the mediums, the three tyres we've allowed for this Grand Prix. No ultra softs and no hards, which, well, if we're running ultra softs here, they'd last about 3 laps before they'd be falling off a cliff and inevitably exploding on us. But of course, softs working quite nicely around here, obviously able roughly to achieve lap times of around 1 minute 10, sort of towards the low end, if you can keep that pace up without burning them up too much, because obviously 71 lap race, we're going to be expecting a 2-stop at the least around here, and at worst a 3-stop. I don't expect to see any 4 stops with the way the tyres have been wearing around here, but I don't expect to see any one-stops because, well, even with the mediums lasting 30 odd laps and the softs able to last around another 20 or 30, it's just not worth the hassle. So trying to push them further than they should go. So probably expecting something along the lines of double supers and a medium, or around, or maybe if some people are able to push it, double softs and a supers.
I'm guessing more like double mediums.
Thinking. Double mediums.
I think it's gonna be something like super, or at least for the guys that are starting on the super softs. Of course, all the top 10 drivers have to start on the tire they qualified on, and that is the super soft. So I'm guessing they start on the supers, then go to the mediums, do about 30 laps on those, do about 10 laps, 12 laps on the first stint. Then you're at 70 or 72 laps total. So minus 30, minus 12. Got about 30 left. So I think it's double medium. Or indeed maybe an extra stop, but I'm not sure if that will work. The double medium is a stretch, of course. People need to do more than 30 laps on those mediums, which is going to be difficult for them. We've seen it happen in Pro, where Satherley, I believe, did a 39 lap stint on the mediums, which was doable, but at the end you really saw him drop off, and the last 3-4 laps he really dropped back, and the guys that were on an extra stop really caught up to him. But perhaps in the World Championship, the drivers are obviously just a little bit better, just a little bit more conservative on their tires, while still being quick, of course. So they might be able to pull something like that off as well. But we're going to have to wait and see. Otherwise, I'm guessing it's going to be super medium, and then indeed 2 supers, or soft and a super maybe to the end.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously, seeing those, you talking about that strategies, definitely can agree. I'm just more thinking that there is going to be that one person in this grid, and there always is that one person in the World Championship grid that tries something different. Because they're out of position, they're not where they want to be, or something goes wrong. And I'm interested to see who that will be tonight. Especially, it's probably going to be someone with nothing to lose. It's probably going to be someone that is maybe willing to risk a bit more than normal, because with both championships summed up, it's all about bragging rights tonight. And as we head into the race, well, everyone's going to be fighting for those for very, very important bragging rights in a few moments' time.
Yeah, surely. Like you said, the championships are closed up. ACR Constructors, Jurne Simocic, the Drivers' Championship, they will be getting some nice prizes, which include a Thrustmaster TSPC Racer and T3PA Pro pedals. One set for the Drivers' Champion, one set for the Team's Champion. Next to that, there will be monetary prizes per point for the teams, and then a bonus for Jurne Simocic, which is, I believe, 750. Wait, let me check how much that is in total. Anyway, I'll find that out in a second and I'll let you know.
Felix, always prepared as always, finding us the information we need, as we always ask for it.
Always, of course.
It's not changed in the 3 years I've known you, my friend.
Yeah. So it's 250 extra for the Drivers' Champion. So Jurne gets a guaranteed 250 plus a TSPC and T3PA pedals, and then gets something extra from the points that he got, which at the moment is 271. If we go on rough numbers from last season, that will be around €2 per point. So still a pretty good amount of prize money. And I'm sure he will be happy with that. And next to that, he will receive a trophy, of course. Anyway, the drivers are getting ready to line up into their grid slots.
They are indeed. And with 71 laps ahead of us, I'm looking forward to this, especially with, as you said, Sander Callas being on that pole position. Not really a driver who usually keeps that, but Ricardo Costa up there as well. But, well, the drivers leave the grid for the formation lap. Sander Callas on pole for NetRex. It's so nice to see Callas back on the front row of the grid once again here in Formula SimRacing World Championship. Martin Gosby, second place for Avid Chronic Racing Blue, I want to say, because I know they have like 3 junior teams. No, Avid Chronic Racing team. Third, Jerne Simoncic, his teammate in the second of the Avid Chronic Racing cars. Fourth is going to be Ricardo Costa for HME Oromia. Great to see those guys up the front once again. Janos Braksok will line up 5th place for Go Speed. Apparently running edited wings compared to what we saw in Pro Felix. That's where their top speed has been coming from. Peter Berlak will line up in 6th place for Edge Esports. Great qualifying for him. Again, one of his strong tracks. Watchedge Lukashek will line up 7th for Go Speed. So both Go Speeds inside the top 10. Looking very strong for them again. Kirill Birakov, I think one of his highest qualifyings of the year, up in 8th
Well, he was
place.
on pole.
Oh, he was on pole,
I believe.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that completely. Well, still, one of his highest qualifyings of the season in 8th place for Invictus. They're looking to score some more points on the board once again after a small little drought recently in terms of finishes. Robin Panzar, 9th for Avid Chronic Racing Blue, followed by Ivan Leonov, rounding out the top 10 for the Jean Alesi Esports Academy. 11th is going to be Mark Hutchinson, standing in tonight for Frami Autosport. Mohamed Patel in 12th, the second of the Jean Alesi Esports Academy cars. Thomas Fock will be 13th for Invictus. 14th will be David Mrodczek, the second of the Avid Chronic Racing Blue cars. 15th will be the second of the Edge Esports cars of Daniel Kish. Michi Hoyer will line up 16th for Ground Effect SimRacing. Luke Maguire will be the... Oh! Now, am I missing something? Because Sander Callas is disconnected, Felix.
Oh boy. That
Whoa.
is...
Yikes.
Shocking. I'm not entirely sure if the rules say that if a driver disconnects on the formation lap, there is a restart automatically.
I think it's under the race director's discretion, and the race director tonight being...
I believe it is.
Thomas Lentz.
So,
We'll see momentarily. We have one of the Netrexes trying to delay the start as much as possible to get a restart. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
and we do have a restart. So a restart to let Sander Callas back in. I believe it will be the single time we allow it tonight. I believe it's only one restart is permitted. Poor Dylan. Poor Dylan. But to go through the end of the grid, Luke Maguire will be the head of the flag-to-flag President GP cars, followed by Danny Van Der Neat for Netrex, and then Cameron Roger for flag-to-flag. Then your pit lane starters of the night are Dylan Scrivens for Frami, Peter Schulze for Ground Effect, Kostas Galanomatis for HME Oromia, and Sander, and, well, that is your... sorry, that is your pit starters, because I was going to say Sander Callas, but that's because he's just reconnected to the server. So the grid will be sorted. Callas will have a back of grid, as been confirmed by the race director, meaning Martin Gosby's on pole, ladies and gentlemen, followed by Jerne Simoncic. It's an ACR1 too. How unusual. But Ricardo Costa third, he is in prime contention to take the lead into turn 1, Felix, and that is something I want to see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what he's able to do there. Of course, turn 1 we've seen in the Pro and Academy divisions. Turn 1 can be a little bit tight, especially in the first lap. So the drivers have to be careful to not make contact or lock any wheels, because in the left-hander it's easy to just drift wide to the right a little bit, and then you find out that there's somebody still on your right, and he's gonna drift to the left in the next corner. So it sometimes bounds to end up in disaster. Or
chaos,
at least some
carnage,
contact, yeah, something like that.
You know, pick a word, it'll probably be applicable if going into turn 1 like that. But we have seen some 3 wides into turn 1, especially actually today now. I think of it, we saw it in Academy. Didn't end too well, but, you know, it happens. That is Academy for you. But here tonight, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of 3 wide action on the first lap into turn 1. Should end really well. But again, the updated grid is the exact same, except with Sander Callas starting from the back of the grid, and he has gone again. So I believe that is a game issue. He is not being allowed back in. So that's going to mean that Martin Gosby starts on the right-hand side of the grid into turn 1 instead of the left-hand side of the grid into turn 1 with his teammate alongside him. The Titanic battle that we've seen all year between Gosby and Simoncic re-sparked again here today at Sao Paulo with Costa. I'd say the underdog, the outlier of the top 3 here, sat there in the Oromia in 3rd place, and, well, Janis Blackstock, with those edited wings for Ghost Speed, maybe they could pull a little, maybe they could pull something out of the bag here tonight.
Maybe I can indeed.
But I'm also interested to see what Petter Burlak can do. He's had some really good performances recently. He's shown a lot of speed throughout the past 2 years of him being here, of him, being at Edge Esports. Obviously, he was with Musto the year before. No, he wasn't. No, he was with Musto last year. God, I'm getting my teams all completely confused because he was with Musto last year because Edge Esports had Yoltine and Jim Parisis. Come on, Alex, you worked for them. Get it right. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what Petter Burlak can do here. Obviously, his first year in Formula Sim Racing for Edge. Now I've actually got my brain to work. But of course, he has shown some really good pace this year, as he has done for the past few years indeed. And this car seems to suit him. The evolutions that were made through the winter seemingly not hindering his performance at all. But really not hindering ACR either. So, as they come around Zhengzhou, it will be very interesting to see what they can do. And it's going to be plenty of there's going to be plenty of interesting moves into turn 1, I would say, especially with some of these out of position drivers.
Yep. We're gonna have to wait and see what they are able to do here. As Gosby has lined up into his grid slot.
Seems that one of the Jean Lacey cars was giving a big gap to the back of the Frammy car. I believe that is... I'm not sure which second one that is. But either way, they'll line up on the grid. Nice and line astern. The two flags hang up at the back. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. As the pit lane starters make their way to the end of the pit lane, I see Galen Matis making his way to the exit of the pits. We wait for the lights to come on. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5. And away we go for the final round of 2019. It is a great start by Gosby. It's going to be even better by Costa, who goes up the middle of both of them into turn 1 and takes the lead for Oromia. Jelle Simoncic looks for the outside of Gosby, the inside of turn 3. He's going to have that inside line. He is going to jump his English teammate. And now Gosby is under pressure from Brucksock, who's having a look on the outside into turn 4. Gosby holds his nose. He's going to have to back out of it. Kirill Birokov's there. That is one of the Jean Lacey cars off in the background. I believe that is Ivan Leonov. Meanwhile, Brucksock trying to have a look at Jelle Simoncic. Costa is already gone, Felix. He is gone into the distance as Petter Burlak looks up the inside of 5th placed Birokov. Birokov's up to 5th, and meanwhile Lukacek's trying to have a look at Burlak for 6th, and will make the move, or will he, because he's got the Edge Esports driver on the inside. And well, Petter Burlak is going to hold that place, but the big story so far, up the middle, splitting the two, Costa's gone through and through.
Yeah, amazing start there by Ricardo Costa, and already pulling out 2.5 seconds within the first lap. Amazing pace here from the Oromia SimSports HME Oromia SimSport driver.
Oh, sorry, Brucksock into second, Felix. Brucksock into second. He's got him past Simoncic. And meanwhile, I saw Panzer getting past Lukacek with a ludicrous move down the start-finish straight. Nearly taking both of them into the pit wall. Start lap 2 here. This is absolutely mental. They're not even a lap in. And Thomas Vox coming towards the top 10. He's on the inside of Mrocek. That is very close indeed. Mrocek's going to run wide. Vox on the left-hand side. Will he go for the outside of turn 6? He will. Is he going to make it work? No, he's not. He's going to have to sit in line as Daniel Kish loses up to the back of him.
Yeah, great start of this race indeed. And very much a bit of a struggle for ACR at the start. Jone Simoncic and Martin Gosby losing the P1 to Riccardo Costa and Janos Brakčuk. Let's see what they are able to do in the rest of this race. Of course, still 70 laps remaining, so they still have to try and make their strategy work. ACR is known for their at least good strategy calls, so let's see if they are able to come back from this little bit disappointing start.
For sure. Well, we're on lap 3 now. DRS is enabled. And I see Jone Simoncic is in DRS range at least. The DRS flies open on the back of the ACR. And the top speed difference is not that much between him and the Go Speed. So Go Speed definitely getting their top speed sorted. Meanwhile, Danny van der Neet has a look on the back of Luke Maguire, who nearly goes into the back of his teammate Cameron Roger for a moment. But, of course, everyone just trying to just find their footing, find their place, find their rhythm. But just having a look at the tyre strategies at the moment, with who's on what tyre, the first car that's on an alternate strategy is Michi Hoyer on the mediums in 9th, Felix. So, Michi Hoyer, if he can keep this pace up and keep with the leaders, he could be on for a blinder of a strategy.
Yeah, he definitely could. Cameron Roger and Danny van der Neet battling hard through the second sector now. As they do so, Dylan Scrivens is gonna go... Sorry, it was a battle with Luke Maguire. Yeah. Dylan Scrivens is gonna have a look at it as well. All of these drivers on mediums, but Danny van der Neet is on the softs. So he should have the better traction, better grip through the corners. But do they have enough top speed to defend? Here comes Dylan Scrivens onto Luke Maguire. Is he gonna brake late? Yes, he is going to brake late, but it's not enough to make the move stick. Perhaps coming out of turn 3 now, if he gets a good run out of turn 2. On the power, DRS flicks open again. Crawling closer and closer. I think he's a bit too far back, yes. Lifts off and waits to try it somewhere else. Perhaps coming into turn 6 now, as he makes a bit of a mistake. Luke Maguire, that is. But no, manages to keep the car well pointed in the right direction, even though he went off the circuit there for a little bit.
2 retirements already as well, Felix. Not sure why. Ivan Leonov and Mark Hutchinson, 2 retirements within the first 3 laps. And that gap that Riccardo Costa had opened up that we were so, we were praising so much, it's coming down because Janos Brakčuk has got some pace underneath him and is closing up to the back of the Oromia. And, well, they're not really dropping Jone Simoncic either, but Gosby is falling into the hands of Kirill Birakov, and I think that Invictus is looking a bit feisty today, Felix. And with all that promise that we've seen before and all of that, that glimpse of pace from him, I think tonight might be his night. And if he keeps this up, I think there's going to be a very, very happy Matthew Tewson back at base. And as I say that, just having a look a bit further down, it's back to that fight between, Scrivens, Maguire, van der Neet and Roger. Roger's actually stuck behind Mohammed Patel at the moment, so the driver who finished his first race in Pro is actually 14th in World Championship at the moment. It's impressive from Cameron.
What's interesting to me, the gap between Riccardo Costa and Janos Brakčuk was about 2 seconds. It's now about 7/10, so Costa already dropping off a lot of pace, and I'm not sure if that's just because he's saving, or if that's actually because he's losing time, making mistakes, perhaps tires already dropping off.
I think with who Riccardo Costa is, I think he'll be saving those tyres, trying to make sure he has something left, because he pushed extremely hard for those first 2 laps. He now knows that he's got the Go Speed car on the back of him. No point in trying to, extend that gap further, save those tyres, work that strategy out. He is fighting ACR at the moment. He's not fighting Go Speed, he's fighting ACR. Because I think that with the way that Go Speed strategy could go, I think that it might favour ACR more towards the end. But that Go Speed is absolutely flying. The amount of, the overspeed that he had coming into turn 4 was absolutely beautiful. But just no one seemingly able to make anything of it so far. Everyone just sat in their rhythm line astern. Anyone that I really think battle might close up soon is that fight for 4 between Gosby, Birakov and Burlak. Right, we can calm down now.
Yeah.
Have a breathe. We can breathe.
A little bit, because the battle for P15 with Danny van der Neet, Luke Maguire, Cameron Roger Dylan Scrivens, and a little bit further back, the Schultz is not done yet as well.
Everyone's just sort of in a bit of a DRS train at the moment, so a bit of fuel saving going on, bit of tyre saving going on. Everyone within DRS of each other in that 15th place fight. Well, it's actually that 13th place fight because it is all the way up to Mohammed Patel, so
say up to 10th, maybe even Thomas Waak.
maybe even up to 8th actually because of how close Luke
Yep. Anyway,
is, to those guys in essence. So plenty of cars in this train at the moment, and we'll have to just wait and see how the first pit stops. I think we won't see anything really until the first pit stops before we know who is going to be settling in where, who's going to be sort of starting to find some pace in the mid stage of the race. And of course, once we see those alternate strategies kick in, that's where we know who's going to finish roughly where, because up until that final pit stop, of course, everyone's on different strategies at this point in time. We have no idea who's going to finish where, but seeing those medium runners able to keep up with some of these super soft runners at the moment, those guys on the mediums are happily sitting pretty.
Yeah, Ricardo Costa still keeping the gap at about 8/10 right now. So, still doing a good job in keeping Brakchuk behind him.
Yeah, the top three... I was going to say the top three have just started to pull away. Meanwhile, Thomas Vocker's up the inside and past Michi Hoyer on the start-finish straight. Bit of top speed in the back of that Invictus Motorsports car. But of course, obviously, as you were saying, I think that top three have just started to put the power down a bit, just started to pull away because Gosby is just losing time to those guys now. And I think with how quickly we know Costa, Brakchuk and Simoncic are, whether Gosby's saving or not is another question we have to ask ourselves maybe a bit later on into the stint.
Yeah, indeed. Lap 8 now, coming on to lap 9 when Costa finishes this one. I think we're gonna see the first people pitting, perhaps this lap or the next one. People that are going to try a 3-stop, perhaps.
Potentially, I really don't think...
Yeah, here we go, Costa.
Well, we say that. Here we go. Costa going for that 3-stop. He's going to be the one that pulls the trigger on those 3-stop strategy runners. I think that is why he was pushing so hard early on, because he knew he'd have to come in very early. We'll see what he goes on to. If he's going for that 3-stop, he'll probably go on to another set of super softs potentially, maybe a set of mediums. No, he goes on to the mediums for the second stint. Maybe to try and push that stint as long as he can to maybe get himself back onto a 2-stop later on in the race. He'll drop
Keep the option open.
He'll drop down to last place in this race behind his teammate Kostas Galanomatis, but it promotes Yanis Brakchuk and Jerne Simoncic up to first and second. And now that means that Gosby is fighting for P3 with Kirill Birikov, who was very close coming into turn 6.
Yeah, also something to note, Costa has pretty much the most clean air you can ever get. 8 seconds to the next guy in front of you. And we've seen in Pro and Academy that the undercut on this track is really, really powerful. People gaining 2, 3, maybe even 4 seconds in just the space of 1 or 2 laps. So Costa might be onto something, at least trying to make this 3-stop, if he's on that 3-stop, make it work by really gaining a lot of time in this pit stop phase. Let's see, nobody reacting to his
nobody biting that nobody biting that cherry within the top set of people. So big brain call or big blunder, because we know Costa's not one to make stupid strategy calls, but maybe it's just today that the call that he's made is not the smartest. But that 3-stop allows you to go more aggressive, allows you to be quicker throughout the entirety of the race, and may even allow you to be quicker on a quicker set of tyres at the end. That is what I think he might be trying to do. But the question is, do you prefer track position over speed around here? And that is the question that you sort of have to ask yourself when you look at the strategy. And, with Costa's pace, I think he might be able to do it, Felix. I think he might be able to get himself into a really nice competitive position at the end.
It's gonna be difficult. It's really tough to say at this point in time, obviously. He's gonna be quick now. Let's have a look at his sectors. A 10th quicker than anyone in the first sector so far already on his fresh set of medium tires. Nobody...
Birikov's in.
Yep.
Birikov's in. So Birikov on for a 3-stop as well.
Doesn't need to be
ABC.
3-stop by this point, I think.
Oh wait, no, it's lap 10, so
Yeah,
this
it's
is
already lap
allowing
11
for that.
actually, so could be a 2-stop
Yeah,
as
so
well.
I take that back, allowing for 2-stop. So maybe that means that Costa's come in for an early 2-stop, trying
Could
to push
be,
those
could
mediums
be.
a bit further, coming in for the undercut. Because Costa, he's coming around the final corner, he's coming across the start-finish line. He is going to be miles ahead of Kirill Birukov when he comes out. Because Costa's going through turn 2, Birukov, well, he's only coming out of the right-hander of the pit lane. So we're going to have to wait and see what the leaders do. So actually, I take everything I say back. Costa, I think, has made a very good call here. And I think when Braxok and Simoncic come in, they're going to be about 3 or 4 seconds back with how the tyres wear at this rate.
Yeah. Let's see his last lap. 11.3. Rest of the guys were doing 11.6, so 3/10 quicker. Not as much as I would expect. I was expecting like 11.0.
Braxok's in. Braxok's in. The leader's in. So this is crunch time. This will be the one. It does unleash Simoncic into free air, though. And we know... Oh, Ghost Speed double stacking as well. But this does... We know that Simoncic is so good with those, you know, one lap laps. If this is his in lap, this is going to be very interesting to see. So Lukacek in as well. Van der Neet in on the end of lap 11 with those soft tyres. And Costa... Oh, hold on a minute. Where's Costa? I think I'm right, Felix. Looks about 2 or 3 seconds to me, roughly. Or actually, no, about what? Second and a half, 2 seconds? I don't think I'm too far wrong there. And Kirill Birukov, he might jump Simoncic.
Yeah, perhaps. It's gonna be close. Depends on when they pit, of course. The traffic, there's pretty much no traffic, especially for Simoncic. He's able to push really hard now, get a good in lap, and try to make sure that the undercut doesn't work as well as we, or at least Birukov would want.
Simoncic stays out once again. Same with Gosby and Burlak. Panzar stays out. Maybe the top 4 looking to go onto a soft set of tyres for the second stint. Thomas Vok comes in from what was 5th place at the time. So good to see Thomas Vok actually as high as 5th at that point. He'll come in. What will he go on to? He goes on to a set of medium tyres. He's going to come out a long way behind his teammate, but he was very far down in the first place. He's actually going to come out quite a way behind Wojciech Lukacek. So it'll be interesting to see. He's going to come out a fair way ahead of Danny van der Neet, so not a problem at the moment for Vok. But does promote Petter, with all of the pit stops going on, promotes the Edge Esports of Petter Burlak up to 3rd now.
And Roger's still stuck behind the train of David Morcek and everybody behind him.
They're all stuck behind Michi Hoyer as well. It's actually, fair enough, he's running a fairly solid pace as Simoncic is in. And so is Gosby. So Simoncic in, Gosby in, Panzer in. So the 3 of the 4 ACR cars are in the pit lane. This will be an interesting one to see. Now, this is the crunch time. This is where we need to see where Simoncic comes out, because he's got to come out roughly within 2 seconds of Costa. He locks up into his pit box, onto the mediums. Gosby onto the mediums as well, so they're going to have fresher medium tyres than their opponents. And Costa, well, he's gone compared to Simoncic, and so is potentially... Well, Simoncic. Oh, Simoncic is side by side almost with Brockshire coming out, and there is, you were right, Birukov and Gosby nose to tail once again. Birukov with those warmer tyres though, so if he's going to make a move, he's got to make it now. But it's the same with Simoncic on Braxok. If he's going to make the move, he's got to make it now, otherwise he's going to be sat there. Panzer though is actually closer to Birukov than he was before. So impressive stop by Panzer, impressive strategy decision to come in early. We'll see where Petter Burlak feeds into all this. Obviously, it is prime pit stop time as Burlak does indeed peel into the pit lane for Edge Esports. Hits the limiter nice, safely. Hoyer's going to stay out, and so will Mrocek. Obviously, all of the medium runners and soft runners staying out, unless we have any random pit stops for people like we did with Van der Neet. Burlak onto the mediums, going for a long stint. See where he comes out. Through goes Costa, through goes Braksok, through goes Simoncic. He's going to come out relative to Gosby and Birukov. He's actually going to come out behind Kirill Birukov.
Battle as well on
Oh, he might
track
actually come out behind.
between Cameron Rogers,
Cameron
Roger and Dylan Scrivens battling hard. A bit of contact was made at the exit of turn 4, I believe. Cameron Roger looking very feisty. Not sure exactly what happened before that, but I'm guessing that they've been battling for at least down the main straight and then up to turn 4 all the way.
Sure, indeed. Those two guys getting very close for comfort with each other. And I was only going to mention, because Burlak was very close to Pansar, he gets out ahead of Robin Pansar, so doesn't lose much time, but not the most ideal of situations for Burlak at this moment in time. But of course, it's a long race, 71 laps, but Michi Hoyer leads here at Brazil at the moment. And Patel has got Maguire on the outside of turn 1. Maguire's looking for the inside of turn 2. There's contact. They're both round. They're not going to save it. Round they go. That is, for my opinion, no. Maguire nearly rejoins his Petr Schulze. That is Patel out of this race as well. Patel gives up, calls it a day. Ricardo Costa now looking for 8th place. He's both going to have DRS, but I think the Oromia top speed, no, it's not going to help him out here. But Maguire, that was so close indeed. I'm going to actually have a look at the replay from that on board with Maguire, because I want to say that Maguire was in the right here. That was just, it was so close though. Maguire, Patel just turns across the front of him. And, well, Maguire was entitled to space there, I'm afraid. So we'll let the, race directors and the gentlemen behind the penalties decide. But I do have a feeling that's on Mohamed Patel there. But meanwhile, at the front, Chihoya leads from Dawid Morcek and Daniel Kish.
Yeah, all three of these drivers on the different strategy. Morcek, I think, is saving a bit of fuel behind Hoyer. He's not really tempting to go for the overtake, even though he has the DRS and I think also has the top speed to try and make at least a attempt over move. But I'm thinking he's happy where he's right now. There's a bit of breathing room behind to Kish. He can just save some fuel to use later in the race with Michi Hoyer, as there is also an incident with Cameron Roger. Spun around, no front wing. What's happened to him? Let's see if we can find a replay of that.
Oh, he's done that on his own, Felix. He's dropped it. He's dropped the rear end. Around he went, taps the barrier. Front wing flies off, and he's down to 15th place.
Here we go.
Having a really good run, and it's just all undone itself. But something I'm interested in is the fact that Daniel Kish hasn't really caught up to the back of Morcek and Hoyer and hasn't really got ahead of them, because he's on those softer tyres. So he's on a quicker compound. He's going to be going less distance. Therefore, surely he needs to create a gap, although Morcek to the outside of Hoyer through turn 1. Hoyer brakes later, Morcek slows up, not going to be able to make it through there. He's actually going to be slower coming out of turn 2 and 3, so might allow Daniel Kish to have a little look, but nope. The DRS opens again for Dawid Morcek. Hoyer goes defensive, Morcek to the outside. There's a bit of contact between the two, bit of wheel banging. Not intentional either way, but these two need to be careful. Yeah, they're not fighting for the overall race lead, but they're fighting for what could be it later on in this race, and if they're not careful, things could go wrong. Meanwhile, Ricardo Costa has gone on past Luke Maguire, so now Janis Braksok has got to do the same. And that effective top 5 that was pretty spread out earlier on, Felix, well, they were all within a couple of seconds of each other.
Yep.
Just keeping an eye on things that are going, trying to have eyes all up and down the field at the moment in time. Michi Hoyer of Zhengzhou down through the sweeping left-handers. The DRS will open as Kish comes in from 3rd place. That will promote Dylan Scrivens up to 3rd. Meanwhile, Morcek to the outside of turn 1. He's going to have a look to keep it. No, not going to be able to do it. Holds off from the back of Michi Hoyer. Meanwhile, Kostas Galanamatis up to 4th place now, behind Dylan Scrivens. And Braxok has gotten past Maguire. Ooh, gets very loose, and there's Simoncic on the inside. This actually might help out Martin Gosby a bit. Gosby in the slipstream. This is going to help him save from Kirill Birukov, but Gosby looks to the inside. Late on the brakes, is going to get maybe held up. Maguire runs wide. Gosby has the inside. Gosby going to run it a bit wide out of turn 4. But no problems there. Gosby up to 9th. Maguire down to 10th. And now he's got that Invictus of Kirill Birukov on the back of him, who's also got the AG Sports of Peter Burlak, who's also got the ACR Blue of Robin Pansar on the back of him. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got a race on our hands. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to see if anything's going on at the front. Take 3 of the lead fight, because Mrocek looks to the outside. That is easy. That is job done into turn 1. Mitchie, he laid brakes. He's trying to hold it. There's wheel banging. They're side by side through turn 2. The wheel's locked. Mrocek loses the rear end. He's going to hold it. Brilliant save by Dawid Mrocek. Again, another case of the Patel-Maguire incident, but thankfully for Dawid Mrocek, he saves it. And elsewhere, Kirill Birukov's gone past Luke Maguire. This is going to have Peter Burlak on the back of him now. So DRS opens for all 3 drivers. Meanwhile, up the front, that's Petr Schulze trying to have a look at Costa. Actually, no, Costa's got him past Schulze, I should say. So positions changing up and down the order. We haven't got enough lights to keep an eye on it all, Felix. But meanwhile, Scriven's up to 3rd. Is actually on the back of this, or is now currently the overall lead fight. Same with Kostas Gallimatis. Costa's in 5th. He's not far off the back of these guys now. So there is just positions changing left, right, centre, up and down. And I don't have enough eyes to keep an eye on it all.
Yeah, I totally agree there. Of course, I'm guessing these drivers will go for another 5, maybe even 10 laps on these medium tires. Try and make a 2-stop work. Kostas Gallimatis gonna go around the outside coming into turn 1 of Dylan Scrivens. Doesn't really...
meanwhile behind. Sorry, I want to say meanwhile behind because Simoncic... Schulze. No DRS for Schulze. He had Braxok and Simoncic either side of him. Both get past him. But I thought that Simoncic was going to be able to get past Braxok into turn 1. This is getting close between these guys. And that ground effect SimRacing car has not got the top speed it needs. Meanwhile, Peter Burlak's getting past Luke Maguire into turn 4. And Petr Schulze drops behind Martin Gosby. So this is where those fresh medium tyres are coming in for these guys at the front. All that were at the front before the pit stops. Although Peter Burlak ready outside of turn 6. Beautiful move. As Maguire gets very loose. Through into turn 7. Panzar dives up the inside. He's going to be on the outside of turn 8. Maguire has to back out. And now Lukashek gets very close indeed. And sorry to cut in again, Felix. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, action all over the place. Difficult for us to follow everything. But I think we're managing pretty okay now. Very hectic race at the moment, and we're only 22 laps in, still 50 to go. Birukov is about to make a move on the inside of Peter Schulze.
Maguire in the background. Oh, that's contact, and no! That was very lucky for Birukov not to end up facing the wrong way and potentially get collected by an Edge Esports, but this time, no DRS for Schulze. That's just going to allow Kirill Birukov just to breeze past into turn 4. Maguire onto a set of mediums for the second stint. So, here we go again. Now a case of the waiting game. However, Dawid Mrocek has dropped off the back of Hoyer a bit. Not really closing up as quick as I thought he would. Though, just having a look down the field again, just trying to scroll down the field to keep an eye on where absolutely everyone is here. And Peter Burlak trying to hound the back of the ground effect car of Petr Schulze as Gallimatis and Gallimatis is in from 3rd place. So 22 laps completed. About right for the medium runners who probably want to cut in for an early stop and then extend that middle stint. Meanwhile, Peter Burlak has got Robin Pansar getting very close as Burlak on the inside of Schulze. The two Peters side by side. And Pansar trying to make something work. Just not going to work in his favour, but he's going to have the DRS and the slipstream down the back straight to turn 4. And Will Schultz, that was close indeed as they go side by side through turn 4. Bit of contact. Oh, again, bit of contact on the exit. Keep it clean now, chaps. You've got a race to keep going. You're only 22 laps in. Don't get too touchy-feely now. But meanwhile, who did I say came into the pits? Galilamatis, he comes in and he goes on to a set of mediums. So double mediums, he'll be going on to the supers at the end of the race. Meanwhile, Lukaszek dives to the inside of Schultz. Would he get that move done? Corner's going to cut away from him. Schultz is going to have the inside into Zheng Xiao as well. But no, Schultz is going to back out. So it's game on again as Michi Hoyer is in from the race lead.
Let's see what tires he's going to. I'm guessing it's the same as Galilamatis, onto the medium tires, and then at the end of the race to the super softs. Yes, fresh mediums are put onto the car.
Oh, meanwhile behind Lukaszek, Schultz and Vok and Danny Van der Neet. Van der Neet to the outside. Van der Neet's actually going to get by on Thomas Vok. A beautiful move by Van der Neet, who's actually on a different strategy than what he was originally going to be. Lukaszek gets past Schultz. Obviously, they're all going to have DRS on Lukaszek, so Schultz to the inside. Van der Neet's going to make it 3 wide almost as they go into turn 4. It's contact and Van der Neet's rounded. Birkov has to go very far off the track. Oh, not Birkov, sorry, Vok. But thankfully, everyone gets away with it. Michi Hoyer getting very lucky with the stranded Netrex not getting involved. So a bit of a brown pants moment for Thomas Vok and Michi Hoyer. But it's going to allow Schultz back into 10th, Lukaszek's into 11th, and Vok is into 12th. So, breathe. Everything's okay. But David Modchek, he is running a very, very long first stint. Probably looking to go towards that 30-lap marker. Same with Dylan Scrivens. Those guys were towards the back end of that grid in terms of qualifying. So, I think these are the guys that have got nothing to lose here, Felix, and I think they might be going for that ultimate strategy that I was on about.
Looking at a replay here of the incident with Van der Neet, just went a little bit too deep, difficult for him to avoid, and then the rejoin was also difficult because there were a lot of cars coming, of course. Right, so Mrocek leading this race overall, but of course technically Ricardo Costa still in the prime position. But the question is, who is on which strategy? Is Costa on a 3-stop perhaps? Gap between him and Brakchuk right now is just over 1 second, so not a lot of space between them. I don't know, it's difficult to say from our position. Would be nice to know what they are thinking, but I guess that's the point of racing, isn't it?
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. I jokingly said to Costa before the start of the today's proceedings. I said, "Oh, it's nice that you've got the pace tonight, Ricardo. You're going to win a race for once." And well, he's currently on course to do so. So maybe something I've said, or maybe something someone said, is sort of triggered a little a spark inside of Costa tonight, and well, he's got some pace and he's already closing up onto the back of the very, very old medium-tired Dylan Scrivens at the moment. That Frammy running up in second. Very great drive for Dylan Scrivens, actually doing a really good job, and why he is a world champ driver here tonight. It was good seeing him a world champ last year at Suzuka until he sadly ran out of fuel.
He's able to look at the meter this time.
I love how you instantly knew exactly what I was on about the second I mentioned Suzuka. But either way, Costa getting a better exit out of Zheng Xiao compared to Dylan. So I have a feeling that'll be an easy game set match moving to turn 1. Bit of quali boost, bit of high engine mix, and a nice easy draft into turn 1. But no, he's going to back off. Oh! I say he's going to back off. What he's actually going to do is nearly lock the brakes up and plow into the back of the Frammy.
Nice flat spot.
Meanwhile, in a bit more of a sane land. Yeah, so that is actually going to really hurt him for now. But Costa,
yellow flag, Peter Schultz, sector 2, bit of an incident. We'll look at that after.
I'm going to have a look. I'll just have a quick gloss off it now, and it was just a simple spin for Peter Schultz. Nothing major, just lost it on throttle application. and around he goes. As I said, easy to do. We saw Michele D'Alessandro do it last year, the title winner at the time. Saw him spin it on his own at that exact same corner, actually. So, ooh. And now the effective race lead happens because Costa has got a lot of red in his mirrors. No, he's not angry. He's just got a go speed behind him. And a very, very aggressive one of Janus Braksok as well. We'll see what Costa can do. Scrivens bails into the pit lane, gives Costa DRS. So Costa will be saved for now. Well, I say that. The top speed of the go speed is there, but there is Simoncic as well. So the top 5 actually are very, the effective top 5, I should say, are very, very close to one another. But Costa's not going to have DRS out of turn 3. He's going to go instantly defensive. You can see the go speed getting very, very close. Simoncic is like, no point in me getting near that in case something goes on. But this is what it is. Now, this is the devil's advocate. Do you save your tyres and do you just let them go? Or do you defend your position to the tooth and nail? For Costa, well, he came in lap 9. At the start of lap 9, I should say. And he's been running on those tyres since then. We're on lap 28 now. Those tyres are getting pretty old. I should say about halfway through their life, roughly. So, though he needs to be careful on those tyres. But for David Mroczek, on the other hand, who's having a nice time of his rear end coming out of Zhongshao, he's going to be looking to come in the next lap or 2. And as I say that, he bails into the pit lane now. So 27 laps complete on those medium tyres. That's actually a really nice stint for him. He's going to drop down a fair margin. But the lead fight, here we go. Costa on the inside. Braksok on the outside, not going to work. Oh, but that was a rear end slide, and that was going to force Braksok slow on the inside of turn 3. This is going to slow both of the drivers up, but Braksok is going to have the DRS. They're going to line up down the back straight. Braksok looks to the outside. He's got the DRS. The go speed, top speed is enough. He will slip into the race lead for the first time in 28 laps here on track outside of a pit stop cycle here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And Costa, he's now got Jone Simoncic behind him, who isn't going to be as nice.
Yeah, his tires are starting to drop off. Of course, he was the first driver to pit. A very early pit stop for him on lap 9 already. All of these other drivers kept driving until lap at least 11. And some even up until lap 14. So his tires are going to be the oldest of everyone here. And that's starting to show right now.
Definitely is. And is he already out of DRS? Oh no, Costa's in. So Costa bailing in. Right, so this would be interesting to see what tyres he goes on to. We're on lap 29 now. So Costa is obviously 100% on the 3-stop. Tyres last. So he's probably going to have to go on to another set of mediums to even get anything done here. But maybe he's actually forcing the others onto the same strategy, which is what I'm thinking of. Because they're having to push quite hard to keep up with him at this rate, right? So maybe they're over-pushing those tyres, forcing themselves onto a 3-stop. Those guys at the back of the field, right, who have only just made their pit stop, so say, you know, David Mroczek, Chihoya, they can go on a 2-stop. They might be in prime position at the end of this race to maybe take something away if these guys are having to 3-stop on this strategy. And, you know, with these guys all very close, very much in dirty air, wearing their tyres out, fighting each other tooth and nail, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the 2-stop is definitely, because of the pit delta here, definitely the better strategy, unless they lose a lot of time. But I think most of these drivers in the front, especially Simoncic and Gosby and Burlak and Panzer, they really know that they shouldn't lose too much time here, because if they do so, they pretty much mess up all of the strategies from everybody, including yourself. So if you battle too hard now, you're gonna feel the consequences at the end of the race, because the other strategy, for example Costa, is then gonna catch up to you. Costa went to the mediums, so he still got the possibility to go to the end of the race. With 42 laps on the medium tires, we've seen
with the wear he's been showing.
Yeah, sadly did 39 in pro.
No,
Right.
just no. Don't even think about it, Felix. It's not going to happen. Even with the lighter fuel load as the car goes on, by the time that car gets lighter, he is going to have nothing at all. That car is going to... It's like it's going to be driving on slicks that have been driven for
Yeah,
50 laps.
But it might be worth
the
the
wet.
gamble. That's the point. I think it might be worth the gamble because if he knows that if he spits now for a third stop, if he then sees that the guys like Simoncic and Gosby and Brakchuk are still 20 seconds ahead, then it doesn't make any sense for him to make the other stop because he knows.
Yeah, then he's having to gain like 30 odd seconds, to in terms of what he's. Yeah, that is true indeed. Very true, actually. It's something I didn't actually think of.
Call, of course.
Because obviously, you have to. Yeah, you have to consider that. Am I going to lose 20 seconds in a stint, or am I going to lose 20 seconds in a whole race? To these guys with this strategy, and obviously with the pace that Braxok, Simoncic, Gosby, and co are showing. I don't think that a two-stop from now is going to work for Costa with the pace he's got to do for the 42 laps or so that he's got. 42 laps he's got to do. It is just impossible. I feel personally. Again, I've been proven wrong before. I'll be proven wrong again tonight. But I very much don't think he'd do it. And with no one else pitting, I think he's going to be that sole driver trying to make it work. So we'll have to see. Meanwhile, Braxok is holding a nice gap to the rest of the field, although the top six within a couple of seconds. And then a long gap back to 7th place, Thomas Falk, all the way Michi Hoyer and Costas Gallinormatis are side by side. Gallinormatis on the outside of Hoyer. Tap between the two. Gallinormatis has to back out. It was a bit clumsy, I feel, from both parties, but then again, that's racing for you, and it is that turn 1, turn 2 pinch point. It is very difficult to judge. And again, if one of you's on the outside, you can't exactly see where they are half the time, but it happens. And it's allowed Dawid Mroczek to close up. Now, Dawid Mroczek, the last of the pits, so he's on the freshest mediums right now. He's only committed one stop. He's in 12th. He is, I will need to just check how far back he is. He is 17 seconds behind the leaders. So he's not even a pit stop back yet, right? And he's on the freshest tyres of everyone. I think Mroczek could be on for a top 10, maybe top 5 actually, by the end of this race, if he can keep this pace up, if he can keep this tyre wear up. Because if he's able to do a 2-stop, like we want, like we think he can do, I think he could bring himself right into the mix here. Maybe bring himself out the second or two behind Birkov and Burlak, and maybe then fight for a top 5 towards the end on those supers, which, he's going to be on because of the fact that he started on those mediums. But we have plenty of laps left to determine it. We've not even hit Academy race distance yet. So, a lot of time left for me to be proven wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody now slotting pretty much into the train. DRS train behind Janos Brakchuk. Everybody making sure their tires are in good condition. Making sure the fuel is there to get to the end of the race. And then I'm guessing after the last pit stop, so in about, I'm guessing 5 laps, first people are gonna start pitting for that final pit stop, at least for the medium runners, for the guys that are on the 2-stop. From then on, we're probably gonna see some more battling.
Definitely indeed, and just having a look. Just having a look at where people are placed. Obviously, only 17 runners left, so we've lost a fair few runners from this race. Obviously, Mark Hutchinson, Ivan Leonov, lap 1, turn 4.
Ooh, Costa and Dylan Scrivens
Patel, we
battling,
lost.
sorry to say, into turn 1. Dylan Scrivens is giving up easily, and he spun around into the wall. Dylan Scrivens seems like that's the end of his race. Very interesting to see off the track. And on the rejoin,
the wheels got locked.
Yeah,
that was a really clumsy rejoin by Scrivens. Well, it happens. It's racing, but it was a pretty clumsy rejoin by Dylan, and he is just sat in that pit. He's, probably threw his headset, most likely, in anger. But that is Costa. That is actually now Costa's race win chances over. Gone. There is no way he can recover from that. Meanwhile, Bradshaw is getting a bit defensive into turn 1. But that's the thing. Now that that spin's happened, those engineers are going to be on the phone to those guys at the front saying, Costa has been spun. His race win chances are over. Don't, keep this strategy. So Costa is now out of it. But what that does mean is that brings this fight into the main focus, because it now means that we have 6 cars. Wait, no, I take that back. Yeah, 6 cars fighting for the lead on the same strategy, same pace, same bit of tarmac. I think this has been the closest we've been for the most of the year now. And for coming towards the end of the season and the end of the race, this is going to be a grandstand finish. And I think for I'm just going to bring it up for Invictus, who are currently 4th and 7th in this race. I think that's a nice way to end the year with a nice points haul.
Yeah, for sure. They have had a bit of a difficult season, had flashes of good results, but then also some, troubles with finding drivers to actually fill their seat. And I believe they've had 1 or 2 races where they didn't fill the entire, or didn't fill 2 drivers. And that's obviously not something you like to see.
It's always nice to see 2 cars on the grid, especially, a grid as competitive and as high up as the World Championship grid. Because, look at it, 6 cars fighting for the lead. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? Meanwhile, Lukacek is coming under pressure from Galinomatis through turn 4. Actually, that's another point. Galinomatis has actually gone past Michi Hoyer in the meantime, and Mrocek's very close to the back of him. Oh, no, don't try it around the outside of turn 6. He's going to try it side by side through turn 6. He's on the outside curb. He's going to try it through the outside of 7 as well. He's going to be the inside of turn 8. No, he's not. He's had to back out of it. That almost worked for Galinomatis, and that is Mrocek having a look at Hoyer. Has to dive it to the outside. Tries to throw a dummy. Not going to phase Michi. Michi holds on to P11 just outside of the points at the moment, which is also great to see. Meanwhile, for the lead, Simoncic to the outside of Braksok into turn 1 on the DRS with the quali boost. Yane Simoncic back to the lead, and now Gosby's going to have a look at Braksok, because Braksok goes wide. DRS open for the go speed. He won't be able to get that place back, but order is resumed. It's an ACR 1-2.
Yeah, they found their time to strike, and I think there's an incident with Michi Hoyer. He was spun around somewhere.
I'm just having a look. So coming into turn 1, he was on the inside of Galinomatis, and both of them went round, and Lukacek and Mrocek got very lucky to not, pile into that. So both of them getting through. Mrocek into 9th now, so, it's working out for Mrocek as his strategy, because everyone else around him is starting to falter. Oh, and I think, and I want to say, that Braksok is out of DRS range. And he's not only out of that, he is out of that train, because he is into the pit lane, Felix. And now Burlak is going to be on the back of Birakov into turn 1. He's not going to go for a move. But this is going to be an interesting one. What does Braksok go on to? It will probably be another set of mediums. Will it be to the end, though? I think it might be.
Yeah, 33 laps. I think is doable. You have to manage the tires, but definitely is a possibility. More so than 42.
Definitely indeed. And obviously, at this point, that promotes Birakov to 3rd, Burlak to 4th, and Panzer to 5th. Those guys starting to fight.
Ooh, rejoining right next to Michi Hoyer. Right behind him, actually.
And Michi on extremely worn and extremely flat-spotted mediums at this point. So the quicker he can get past him, the better. And that is interesting. Look where Braksok's come out in relation to Costa. Ahead.
Yeah.
Seconds. If Costa hadn't have been spun, he would have been ahead by about similar margins. So, as Birakov comes in, see what he goes on to. And we'll see where he comes out, because that is actually quite a crucial one as well, because we know the undercut is strong around here. Another set of mediums for the Invictus driver. I can see Darren Rodchek. I can see Galan Matis. I can see a Lukashek. Oh, Birukov is going to come out ahead of him, I think. This is going to be close. He's going to come out ahead of him, Felix. Birukov's out ahead of Braxok. Birukov
Ahead.
is
Very
into the
close.
effective race lead. No. Birukov? What?
Well, we've still got
So
Simic and
Birukov's
Hoyer.
into
Don't
the-
forget Simic and Gosby. Don't
Yeah,
forget
that
about
is
them.
true. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that that he was down to third, but that is effective podium now for
Yeah.
Kira Birukov
True.
with where he is. If Birukov can keep this pace up, and if he can get past this traffic in the next couple of laps, get himself into clean air away from these guys, Panzer comes in. He is in for a very good result. And now I think of it, have Invictus had a podium this season at all?
No. Nope. Pretty sure they haven't.
That'd be a nice gift for the end of the year. Well, Panzer leaves the pit lane. Lukashek comes in. And I can see in the background that Braxok has a look to the inside of Hoyer. Hoyer's not going to fight it. It's now game on between the two. Although I see Panzer's not that far away from this other. Panzer might come out ahead of Braxok. Panzer will come out ahead of Braxok.
Yeah, Braxok lost a lot of time during this phase where he was stuck behind Hoyer and all the traffic here in front of him.
I'm slightly gobsmacked at this point. Oh, meanwhile, Martin Gosby's leading the race now. Simic has dropped behind Gosby.
Yes, that happened too.
Which is something.
Let's
that
go to the
happened as
replay.
well.
Here we go.
That happened as well.
So let's have a look. I'm guessing... Oh, Simic made a little bit of a mistake coming out of turn 2. Drifted wide a little bit. Allowed Martin Gosby to get alongside. Simic didn't really defend it. Or, well, I should say didn't defend it at all. Almost let him past. And Gosby into the lead of the race indeed.
So, well, Simic hasn't really got a need to defend the pace at the moment, Felix, because if you think of it this way, they're on their own. Because they had a good gap to third place when they came in, or when third place came in. And with how far back Braxok has dropped, they're going to have a 3-second gap minimum to Birukov, unless Birukov puts his foot down. Which he's in clean air now, because Galan Matis has come in. So Birukov has got to hit game on if he wants to be near these guys at the front, who are right at the front. And the thing is as well, we can't count out Petter Burlak, because he is very, very close as Gosby comes in. So Gosby bails from the lead of the race. This is crunch time. Where will Gosby come out? I'm sort of confused, surprised, and excited at the same time.
It's going to
because
be just in front of Birukov.
everything has just happened.
It's going to be very close with Birukov.
I think he
though.
might be.
It's going to be very close.
Yeah, I'm just trying to... I'm looking in the back. I see the Invictus. I see that Invictus. That Invictus is going to go through, I think.
It's going to be very
It comes out of the pit. Oh, yeah. That is going to be very close. No, Birukov might have that. I think. Who's going to have the run? It's going to be Gosby. Yeah, no, Gosby comes out just in front.
Simic.
Where's Simic going to come out in all?
He's got a purple
this.
or a green first sector at the moment.
Where is Jerne Simic going to come out in all of this now? Because he's either going to be out alongside Birukov into turn 4, or alongside Panzer into turn 4, or alongside Braxok into turn 4. Well, we'll see, because Simic is staying out again.
He's got the pace.
Simic and Burlak staying out. Yeah, that's the thing. And the longer these guys go, the softer a compound tire they can go on at the end.
No, he's going to go to the medium for sure. No way.
You don't think they'll go to the soft at all?
Nah, 28 laps on the softs? They won't risk it. Pretty sure they won't risk it.
Yeah, actually, no. Yeah, no, it won't. Yeah, no, don't risk that. I was thinking. Also, meanwhile, Danny Kish exists in 4th, or what is now effectively 3rd. Where has he come from? Daniel Kish has been... Right, we haven't mentioned him at all this broadcast. He has been on his own in the middle of nowhere, and he's just been quietly running his own race. Started out on the soft tyres, so he's doing a soft medium. And he came in just before the medium race, so he's going to have to go on to mediums at the end. He might... Yeah, no, Danny Kish is in a really nice position at the moment. He won't be within that top 5 lot. I think he'll be about 6th or 7th. But he has had a really nice, solid race at the moment.
Here we go. Both of them into the pits. Simocic and Burlak.
It'll be a battle of the pit crews. See who can get in and out quicker. Simocic slows for his box, so does Burlak. Burlak on the jacks. Burlak off the jacks, and away he goes. Simocic up. Simocic down. Simocic away. Gosby into the lead.
He's behind Bidikov for sure.
Oh no, he's behind Braxock as well.
Yep.
The undercut proving strong. So that means that Kirill Birikov is into effective 2nd place. Am I dreaming, Felix? Or am I... But that is absolutely amazing to see. You know, such an improvement. I know, I know I've been going on about it all day, but that team has been such a, they've come on so far in so many years. I think in the 3 years I've been here, they've come on a long way at least. I don't know. Felix, we've been here God knows how many years now in Formula Sim Racing, and we've known most of the teams here for God knows how many years. But I think Invictus has been one of those teams that have made a step up this year compared to their previous years, and it's showing. They've got themselves together, they've got the setups there, they've got the drivers there most of the time, and it's showing. And meanwhile, Costa, as well, I'm actually going to bring up, is in 8th. Hi there, Ricardo Costa, how are you doing? He's not far off the back of these guys. He's coming out of turn 3, whereas Burlak's not far out of turn 3. Braxock is fighting with Simocic for 5th now. I'm just trying to piece in my head how it's going to go. And David Rotchek, right, he's in the lead now. He's not far ahead of Gosby, so this is going to be an on-track lead fight here. But obviously Rotchek has got to pit again, but he won't come in. I don't think he'll come in till lap 50, lap 51. With how long he's been on those tyres for, if he's doing a similar sort of stint length to his first stint. Or his second stint, sorry, I should... Wait, hold on a minute. Yeah, no, with how this stint is going, he won't be coming in until what, lap 55, in which he can go onto the super soft?
Maybe.
Because he hasn't used the supers yet, he's used the softs at the start of the race.
Yeah, it depends. Simocic is going around the outside of Braxock, by the way. I think it's gonna be straightforward. Yep. Straightforward pass for him.
Yeah, he's through.
And in the meantime, Gosby got past Moracek easily as well. Next target for Bidikov is gonna be Moracek.
And he wants to get past him as quick as possible because he's got Robin Panzer breathing down his neck. We all know what Robin Panzer can be like in a fight. Very, very aggressive and very, very opportunistic. Double-edged sword, that is. But usually for Panzer, it falls on the positive side. But he has got Simocic behind him. So I think Panzer might be doing, not mirror driving, but might have to do a bit of defending instead of attacking. And Mrocek has just got to literally make his car as wide as he can at this moment in time. Coming through Zhengshao. And that is a decent run for Birikov, I would say. But DRS will be given to the entirety of that train. Except for Gosby, of course. No moves being made elsewhere. Michi Hoyer's in 9th at the moment, I might add. Great drive. It's again, this curse of the lead train is that everyone's got DRS on everyone.
Ooh,
They're not really able to make a move
up the inside.
around the outside of turn 6. Go on, Kirill. Go on. Around the outside, and he makes it move. He makes it stick on David Mrocek. Beautiful move by Kirill Birakov on the ACR. He is into second, not only on track, but effectively now. That is absolutely amazing. Now, will Mrocek make it easy for Robin Panzar, knowing they're on different strategies, and let him go? Or will he fight him because of the threat of Simoncic? We'll find out. Out they go across the DRS line. They're all going to have DRS. And no, Mrocek's going to let his teammate go. Nice and easy. He's going to hold up. Or he's not going to let Simoncic go, of course. And also, Berlak's on the back of Brucksock now. This is going to be... Ooh, rear end wiggle for Mrocek. Allows Simoncic to go through. Might also allow for Brucksock to go through on top speed. Not going to work as Berlak gets very close to the back of Brucksock under braking. That is unleashed Panzar and Simoncic. And now Brucksock and Berlak have got to deal with each other and Mrocek. So now Mrocek's got to make his car wider than a bus to stop these guys getting by. It's one thing that he's good at, making his car wider than anything else on earth. They come through. We're already halfway through this race. We've been halfway through this race for a long time, but it's amazing how time flies. Meanwhile, just having a look, no real other fights going on at the moment. Now, is that Kirill closing in on Gosby? Oh, actually, no, meanwhile in the background, Mrocek versus Brucksock. Brucksock to the outside of turn 1. Oh, that is very, very close indeed. I actually gift Berlak a run. It's definitely going to give Brucksock a run into turn 4. On the outside, under braking. And around the outside goes Janos Brucksock. So Mrocek down to 6, has now got G-Sports and Peter Berlak to deal with. But my oh my, this has been a race to remember. Birakov is right on the back of Gosby. This could be a move into turn 1, I think, Felix, if he gets it together out of Zhengzhou.
Yeah, perhaps. The question I'm asking myself is, isn't he pushing a bit too much, using a bit too much fuel, using a bit too much tires? He has to go to the end of the race on these tires. If he pushes too much right now, then he might not be able to make it to the end, at least not without losing the position back to Gosby there.
That is a fair point. Well, in the background, easy move for Peter Berlak, getting past David Mrocek. As Costa comes in. Now this will be a set of supers. If you can't get to the end on this set of supers after doing what, 12 laps, I would be... Nope, another set of mediums.
Yeah, it's 21 laps
Safety.
still, Supers on 21
Oh
laps.
yeah, 21. Yeah. Sorry. Look, I can't count today.
Don't worry.
I see 50, I go to 71 and I count 11 for some reason. Don't ask me why.
So Bidikov,
what
he's gonna try. Well, I'm thinking he's at the moment playing it safely and smart. Just try to keep in the slipstream. Don't use your tires too much. Don't use the fuel too much, because we've seen in the past exactly what I just said a lap ago, that he pushes too much in the beginning of the stint, and then at the end of the stint loses all that time back and just drops like a brick down the field. If he plays it smart, I think he has a really good chance to stay on the podium for one, and maybe even fight for the lead. That's gonna be difficult. Martin Gosby is, of course, one of the most experienced drivers on this grid at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And it's very hard to crack the Gosby. You know, I've not seen it done that often, and I've been around for enough years and watched him race for enough years now. So he's very much a case of you will sit behind him, you will follow him, and you will learn from him until you can figure out a way past. Now, whether that is on lap 51 or whether that is on lap 71 is another question you have to figure out. But for now, just running in the slipstream, keeping your tyre
You know what?
live for as long as possible.
I've just noticed something. Look at the gears that Bidikov is using. Up to 5th, 6th, 7th. This car has 8 gears. He's not using the 8th gear.
This is something I noticed at Silverstone when I was testing this car. I was testing this car at Silverstone with Michael Ayers prior to World Champ, and we noticed that the gearing only went up to 7th. Now, no idea why, no idea what the reasoning behind this is. But for whatever reason, it's working.
At the moment it is, yeah.
Yeah, and as the old saying goes, it looks stupid, but it works isn't stupid. So this is a blind stroke of potential luck on Invictus's side here, but the fact they're not using all 8 gears but still running the same top speed, I think that's what I was saying earlier, where they're running that car out of traction zones. They're not running it they're not running it, you know, for throttle acceleration. They're running it for the straight, for the long, for traction zones. They don't want that car to be revving too high in lower gears. But at the same time, it will be their death. It will be their deathbed at the end of the day. But for now, it's working. So for now, all we can do is praise them. Meanwhile, Peter Burlak and Janos Braksok are fighting each other for what is 5th place. They come up towards turn 6. They've been getting very close for the past few laps. And it's been a very good race by the pair of them. I'm just interested to see how this lead fight turns out, because this has been so close all race. It's had so many different protagonists, and think of that. Think of just not having Osby or Simoncic win this race. Strong they've been, after Costa's issue and after Braksok's issue. That would be interesting.
Doria got the inside. Straightforward, easy move there. If you can keep
all he needs to do, sets now. Yeah, all he's got to do, set his sights on Jerne Simoncic. Although Braksok, not going to let him get away easily. Yeah, because looking at the gears, I'm just paying extra attention to those gears now, Felix. For Martin Gosby, he's using 6th gear through turn 6. For Birikov, he's using 5th. And again, 4th through this long left-hander, 6th for Gosby, 5th for Birikov. Hu Zhengxiao, 4th for Gosby, 4th for Birikov. So their 4th gears are probably geared roughly similar. So I'm finding that relatively interesting, actually. Yeah. But Birikov's not really losing time, and he's not really gaining time either. What was it, 1 minute 10? I'm gonna have a look. Oh man, let me have a look at their laps recently and just compare them a second. So Gosby has been doing 1098, 1099, 1099, 110.0.
By the way, going to the softs. He will be going to the end, 16 laps to go. Should be easily doable. He's gonna be rejoining right about Ricardo Costa, I think.
So Birikov at the moment, right, has been running laps around a 10th or 2 slower than Gosby. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, actually. And I want to say they've been running laps quicker than Panzer in 3rd. Of which they have been, because Panzer's been running, consistent high 09s, couple of 10s. Same with Simoncic. Actually, Simoncic's been running more 10s than he has 9s, so Simoncic is actually relatively off pace here.
I think he's just saving at the moment. But I'm not entirely sure, of course. Can't read his mind. But I think he's at the moment just saving the fuel for I'm guessing the last 10, maybe 7 laps. And then start trying to push again. Trying to get the overtakes done on Pantsar. And then put the pressure on Bidikov again.
I'll say we've got 15 laps to go, so... You know, not much time left. You know, still a good amount of time's worth for anything to happen. We saw in Academy that title contender Jan Wozniacki lost it on the penultimate lap. So, it could happen to absolutely anyone, at any time. And I'm doing my best to not curse it right now, because I know I will be murdered if I curse it. And it happens. Because I've done it before, and I will not do it again. But either way, this top 4 seems to be, you know, top 6 seems to be nicely settled. Same with 7th and 8th, 9th. And 9th and 10th is actually relatively close. Between Lukacek and Matis, on the other hand. Around about a second and a half, 2 seconds.
Cameron Roger.
Oh, meanwhile,
Yeah.
Petter Schulze and Cameron Roger having a bit of a ding-dong battle. And Cameron losing out that fight. Far ahead of his teammate, Luke Maguire. Only 16 cars left in the race with Dylan Scrivens' retirement. A while ago on lap 35 now. God, that was so long ago. I actually think that Petter Burlak is closing up on that top 4. I'm going to have a look at his lap times. To have a look. Yeah. Mid-low 109s. So Burlak is closing on these guys. So these guys are saving, Burlak is pushing, which is all he needs to do at the end of the day. You can see my face. I'm actually puzzled. Just trying to think. Oh, hold on a minute. I'm assuming you saw what I just saw, Felix.
I don't know. Did I? Maybe not.
Nice bit of traffic. A nice bit of traffic in the camera shot. So, what will play into this now?
Considering it's the 2 FTF drivers, I'm guessing, or at least I hope, they do the sensible thing and just get out of the way of the entire train here. They have nothing to gain, nothing to lose. It's the last race of the season. They can continue battling if they want. They let everybody through. Let's hope they don't interfere with this battle too much.
Oh, of course, but, you know, if they catch them in an awkward spot, which does happen, it is just that entire possible factor of traffic being the deciding factor. We've seen it before. We will see it again. Know that Cameron and Luke aren't fools when it comes to being lapped or being backmarkers. But it's just it is just that thought. I'm just I'm intrigued as to how these final 10 laps are going to play out soon. Obviously, it is a majorly short lap. Obviously, only a minute and 10 lap. And these guys are all so close.
Yeah, definitely.
There are many a team boss at them. A team. So Cameron Rogers pitted as well, by the way, so he's out behind all this training. So it's only Luke Maguire that they've sort of got to worry about in the near future. Oh, it's Lukacek! Lukacek's gone round! So I don't know what's happened to Wojciech Lukaszek, but he has had an accident.
Let's have a look.
Oh, he looped it. He looped it into the barrier all on his own. He's out of the race, which promotes, I want to say, it promotes Costa back into the points. Ricardo Costa, everyone, is back in the points after a torrid race for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he would really care about it. That one single point that he gets now.
I think at this point he's going to be annoyed with the issue that he had, that he would have been in this train. Well, actually, no, with the way his race is going, he wouldn't have been in this train.
Yeah, the 3-stop probably would have
tyre wear he's had.
still not worked, but yeah. Still didn't help being turned around into
Although no, for sure. Meanwhile, that is a Jerne Simoncic having a little look at Robin Panzer. And that is a pet. Yeah, he might. Oh, now that was a bit wide out of turn 2 for Panzer. Go ACR versus ACR. Simoncic just looks to the inside. Will brake as late as he dares. Oh, will run each other out as wide as they dare. Still going to be side by side on the exit. They're going to go through turn 6. Side by side, and Simoncic is onto the podium. Simoncic back on the podium. Now this is what he needed. He's got 10 laps to go. He needs to put the pressure on Birikov. He saved those tyres. He saw an opportunity, and he went for it. And now Burlak is on the back of this quartet. So the quartet has turned into a 5-and train. Game on for 10 laps, Felix.
Definitely. Like I mentioned just a bit earlier, probably Simoncic was saving a bit of fuel behind Panzer and now putting the pressure on, starting to reel in Kirill Birikov, trying to get that second position once again. And then perhaps try to put some pressure on Gosby and try to take the win. I mean, yes, you are the champion here of 2019, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to be fighting for this.
It doesn't mean that Gosby's going to let you buy.
That as well.
I say the last thing that Martin Gosby is going to do is wave you past with open arms, going, yes, yes, sir, go past me. No, he's going to fight you tooth and nail like he has been all race long. But they've got this yellow and black thing in the way, and that is an Invictus. The car we've not seen up the front for a long, long time indeed, and it's great to see it back up front here in the World Championship round at Sao Paulo here in Brazil. And, well, with less than 10 laps to go, it's winding down, and we've seen some very interesting races, some very interesting overtakes, maneuvers, crashes, spins, and... Ooh.
I don't know exactly. Costa? Is it Costa? Yeah,
Costa!
Costa!
Costa! No! What has happened to Costa? Because he's had a big off.
Let's have a look. So, out
He
of turn
has...
3. Oh, wheel failure, I think. Or wheel disconnection.
That is...
interesting. Yeah,
I'm
definitely the end of
completely
this race.
confused here. Let me have it. I'm confused here.
Yeah, probably the wheel disconnected and just went 180 degrees to the left or something.
Yeah, for sure. That is interesting indeed. Oh, now. So you know how I mentioned that Burlak was closing and on the back of these guys? On board with him at the moment. All I can see in very clear lettering is Panzer. Because he is right on the back of Robin Panzer's ACR at the moment. And it has been a valiant charge by the Edge Esports driver. But meanwhile, so that put so Michi Hoyer's back in the points now because of Costa's retirement. She'll be happy with that. So 7 laps to go. 4 drivers. Sorry, yeah, 5 drivers. Sorry, Alex, learn to count. 5 drivers, 7 laps to go. Only 3 podium spots. So, place your bets. Who's going to be the top 3? Felix?
I think it's not going to change. It's going to stay like this.
You know what? I'm going to bet my money on Birikov winning this. I know Gosby strong, and I know Gosby can defend. But I think Birikov has got some pace left in him, some tyres left in him. And with the hurry up he's getting from SimRacing, I think he might just put the hammer down. And we know that Gosby isn't immune to takes. And with the fact that Panzer and Burlak have just dropped off the back of this trio, you can tell they're hurrying up now. You can tell that these guys have started to gap. They're putting the hammer down. 6 to go. Oh boy. It's on. It's on for the race lead. It's on for second. It's on for third. It's on for fourth. And it's for fifth. With 6 laps to go here for the final round of the 2019 season. And I'm so glad that I'm here to talk over it. They've got traffic in front of them as well. I think that's ground effects and a flag I saw in the distance.
Yeah. So Peter Schultz and Luke Maguire, I believe.
I think Peter Schultz is getting fed up of seeing flag to flags. He's seen Cameron all race, and now he's seeing Luke again. But either way, 5 laps to go when they cross the line. Who will come out victorious? And I think that Birikov is slowly going out of DRS range of Gosby. I don't think he's got... Has he got DRS?
Yes, he does, but SimRacing does as well. Oof. Very tight. Oh, SimRacing around, and that also holds up. Petar Briljak and Robin Pansar. Kirill Birikov and SimRacing making slight contact there coming into turn 1. And that allows Birikov a bit of breathing room. And Petar Briljak is now the one that's gonna be hunting him down. But also losing the gap to Gosby now. Almost, or over 2 seconds already even. So Birikov challenging for the lead. I'm thinking that's not so likely anymore.
No, sadly not. Although, driver I did think would get on the podium, right? Petar Briljak. I said this was his track, and he's now third. I think Andreas Valters can be pleased and smile with this result. I think no matter what happens. So 4 laps to go this time by. SimRacing down in 4th. I didn't actually exactly see what happened because my game decided to lag out like absolute mad. So I'm assuming that there was contact.
Yep.
Oh dear. I said it. Anything can and will happen here in the Formula Sim Racing Championship. And it did. And the driver I thought I was going to curse, turns out it was the other one. So I might have the ACR mob at my house tonight. Well, if I don't surface after tonight, you know what's happened to me. By the way, Martin Gosby has run a pretty flawless race, I should say. Very few mistakes, very few, very few calamities, very few issues.
Yeah, very straightforward race for him, indeed. Now the question is Kirill Birikov going to be able to keep Petar Briljak behind? Former World Championship winner. And obviously the champion of 2015. Breathing down your neck? I guess that's not something that is very comfortable. I can say so from my own experience. Would rather have somebody else. Anyway, Kirill Birikov is the one that's under pressure now. And he's gonna try and keep him behind for as long as he can. 2 more laps remaining after this one. Fight is on.
It is indeed. And at this point, I don't think that either Kirill Burkov or Team Boss Matthew Susan are going to be too worried about finishing second or third. It's a podium, and it's what they have been waiting for all year. And as you said, 2 laps to go as they come across the line. That's all he's got to do. 2 more laps, about 3 more minutes of driving, and the engine has blown.
Again.
No.
Again, this is the 3rd time this year that Bidikov has blown his engine from a great position. They just don't learn. Sorry to be so harsh, but this is the 3rd time this has happened. Why are they so aggressive on this when you know that you're in a good position? I don't understand it.
I won't lie, I've got my head in my hands right now. That it's going to be heartbreaking, but it isn't. As you said, it's inexcusable at this point of the season. He's made it back to his pit garage, so there's an upside. But that has meant that Yerny Simončić, the man who was fighting for this podium, is back on it. But oh my word, they have still got 1 more car left. That is Thomas Fock, who is 6th at the moment. It's not a podium, it's points. Hopefully his engine doesn't go. But final lap for race leader Martin Gosby. Has not put a foot wrong this entire race. And all he's done, run consistent laps, run the strategy, and has performed. And at the end of the day, here in the World Championship, that is all you need. He ran his pace, ran his race, ran his strategy, ran his fuel, and he is here, halfway around the lap, about to lap Peter Schulze for first time. And he is going to see the checkered flag. And I think he can be happy with that today. Yeah, it's not a title like he would have wanted this year. He lost that a few races ago. But at the end of the day, a win, especially in such conditions such as this, with how tight it was, is a win. And Martin Gosby will come across the line to win the final round of 2019 for Avid Chronic Racing. Petter Burlak from nowhere will finish 2nd after all of this, and Yerny Simončić, your 2019 champion, will finish on the podium. What could have been for Janos Braksok a potential race win for Ghost out of the window from that final stop. And Daniel Kish, you, sir, have we haven't spoken about him pretty much the entire broadcast, and he has finished 5th. Absolutely outstanding drive from Daniel Kish. 2 edge cars in the top 5. Thomas Fock, 6th place for Invictus. Is not the result they would have wanted after what been. But to round out the year, it is vital points they've needed in this championship. Dawid Mrodczek up to 7th at the end of that race. 8th is Robin Panzer. 9th is Michi Hoyer. And Kostas Galamatis from the pit lane finishes in 10th. That, sir, is a drive to be proud of. And outside of the points, Luke Maguire just outside of the points in P11. 12th was Peter Schulze. 13th, Cameron Roger. And your retirements, Kirill Birikov, with that engine failure that is going to be heartbreaking for the Invictus crew. Ricardo Costa with that wheel failure. Wojciech Lukaszek with that accident towards the end of the race, where he just nosed it into the wall. Dylan Scrivens with that accident with Ricardo Costa in the mid of the race. Danny van der Neet with his own accident that I can't exactly remember exactly what happened. Mohammed Patel, the accident he had with, I believe it was Luke Maguire. Ivan Leonov and Mark Hutchinson out lap 1, turn 4. Well. What a race.
Yeah. Excitement all over. And heartbreak as well. For multiple people. But indeed a great way for the viewers at least, to end this season. Maybe for some drivers it's a bit more skeptical. Anyway, really enjoyed watching this, and I think a lot of viewers did as well. Now it's for us just to wait a little bit and switch to the Discord channel in a second to allow for the drivers to hop in, the top 3 drivers to hop in for a driver interview. Obviously, not much new people, as we perhaps would have liked. Gosby, Brojak and Simoncic are quite well known to this podium by now, as Gosby does some nice donuts as well still, together with his teammate.
I'm just heartbroken. In a way, it is. I know, it is what it is at the end of the day for Invictus, with the engine blow. But at the end of the day, it's still really, really heartbreaking for them to come from such a strong position to end up where they did. Felix, should we mention the person that's just joined us in the voice chat, or do we not talk about him, because with wasn't the most good confident of races, but I think he still had a pretty good one that's mentioned.
Yeah, well, he finished.
Yeah, that's the point. He did finish, actually. You see, in this whole season of Formula Sim Racing, the person who joins us today, Lord Cameron of Rogers from the Flag to Flag team, has finished 2 races
in a row
this
as well.
season.
It hasn't been really the year for the team or myself.
So it hasn't been the year for yourself, Cameron. No, it hasn't, Cameron.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad to finish both races today. But obviously not really in a good position at all. And yeah, we weren't obviously really that quick today anyway, but that spin just killed my race anyway. So yeah, I went a lap down, and in the last stint I got stuck behind Kish and I couldn't unlap myself because blue flags. So yeah, but anyway, we got more important drivers to talk about.
Yeah,
for sure. We had to make your finish, Felix. I think the first person I just want to mention here, Petter Balak. Jesus almighty, how did you make that strategy work from how much you were fighting people that entire race? Because from what I saw, I don't think you ever had a moment of clear air for more than 3 laps.
Well, I had those 10 or so laps when I passed Janos, so I had to close up to the train. But, the tire advantage I had when I pitted later was kind of gone then because I destroyed them. So, but yeah, then Kirill basically gave me a gift fighting with Yerne. I don't know what happened. I guess he squeezed him or something. And then blew his engine, so +3 places, just like that.
Of course. And obviously, you've been someone that's been up and around the front, the sharp end all year. And, well, you have been for the past God knows how many years. But, of course, this whole season with you at Edge, positive year for the team and, positive going into 2020, or, one that sort of, there's a lot that you could pick up from, and, there's a lot that you need to learn going into next year.
Well, I think it was an okay year. We weren't focusing maybe that much on FSR this year, so to come away with, I don't know how many podiums or whatever, it's pretty good. I don't know about next year. I usually decide that in maybe February or something, or even a few weeks before the first race. So I'm not too sure what else will pop up from events and leagues. But it's been a pretty fun year. Fun to drive.
Yeah, and Felix, I've probably screwed your order up, Felix. I'm sorry. I know first person I mentioned is better. But no, second person, I think it's only fair to, go up to Yerne, because Yerne, such a strong race from both obviously yourself and Martin, and you look at how this race panned itself out after having a random Emilia of Ricardo Costa down your inside into the lead at turn 1 to suddenly ending up off the circuit towards the the penultimate laps of the race, and then suddenly end up back on the podium a lap later. Sort of roller coaster of emotions and events for you. And I think it's for you that race good, bad, or rather indifferent.
Yeah, with this train type of racing that we produce with this too powerful DRS compared to the dirty air. Yeah, in those trains, a lot of things happen, and yeah, we can always expect some interesting stuff. But yeah, I was doing fine, sticking in the DRS, saving tires a little bit. But then, well, things happen. I don't really know what to say. I have to check the replay. What happened with Kirill? I think he squeezed me onto the curb. I suppose it will be deemed as a racing incident, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it was a fun race, but I really hope that we will somehow fix this train type of racing, which is just, well, not fun and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, for sure indeed. And Martin, I think, how many times have I spoken to you in the past, half a year in terms of interviews and commentary, with how many times I've seen you on a podium in the amount of series you've raced in recently. But, mate, absolutely flawless again from you today. Just ran your strategy, ran your race, didn't get and happy with the win? Or do you think, you should have been a lot better from in terms of lap times and everything else?
No, I'm extremely happy to win, considering how much I was whinging to the team and other people that I speak to within FSR. I was really annoyed with my pace. So yeah, it's great to have the win. It's a shame what happened with Yerne, because I'm sure he would have attacked me. Just did my own race. Yerne made that small mistake on one of the laps, and I went ahead of him, and that probably gave me the win. I came out ahead of the pits of Birakov, and then, yeah, I was just waiting for him to attack, keeping my boost in check. So yeah, it is good.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's been a very, very strong race from the entire top three. Felix, anything? Because I've just been talking non-stop for the past 2 hours.
Well, I guess I don't have much questions. I mean, we've had these three drivers on this podium for so many times already this season. It's tough to come up with new questions every time. We know them inside out by now. Obviously, I just want to give a congratulations to Simončić once again, winning the title in such a fashion that he did. And I'm sure he will be happy to receive some of the nice prizes that Thrustmaster has offered us, and also some prize money that will be coming his way in, as soon as possible.
Yes, please. I need the wheel.
Yeah. I'm sure the administration, as in Cameron, will get that sorted as soon as possible after the season. That brings me to the next point. Indeed, everybody from the administration deserves a big thank you. Cameron, Roger, obviously the president, Thomas Lenz, the vice president next to me as vice president. I want to thank myself, of course, as well. I have to have a bit of
how dare you? How dare you?
Everybody else on the team, of course, behind the scenes, all the race directors, Peter Schultz, Cas Rietveld, Robin Pansar, Pascal Chapon. I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. In the meantime, with all the commentators, you yourself, Alex, Lewis McGlade, James Kirk, who did some commentary earlier in the season, unfortunately wasn't able to do the full season because of other commitments. Also, Corey Dyer, and again, I'm sure I'm forgetting some people.
I could probably list a few people.
Anyway, everybody that I've missed as well, very big thank you. FSR wouldn't be here without those people, of course. And of course the drivers, not only the winning drivers, also the drivers that didn't do so well, or at least are here for fun or just to have a drive. Thanks to those people. And obviously one of the most important parts are the viewers that are watching every time all the races for multiple hours during these Sundays here for Formula SimRacing. Thank you very much. I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, and all I can really say is, as a personal thank you to Cameron and Felix, especially for the years, that I've had as people who are where I'm stepping down. I want to give a special thank you to Cameron for basically making FSR my home for the past 2 years, especially of commentary. So, it's been an amazing couple of years, and it's been amazing fun to, know that if I ever need /want to just come and join and do some, talking nonsense for about 2 hours, I'm always welcome back here. And obviously Felix, for the past 3 years now, I've known you. It's amazing the work that you've done. And obviously, again, to everyone that's helped me through the years and everyone here at FSR that's been so supportive and constructive, it's made me who I am. And, it's such a pleasure to come back here week after week, after race and season after season, and just, talk for 2 hours non-stop about the amazing racing that we get here. That is why I consider FSR, the highest level of sim racing at this moment in time.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to host and be there for everyone. All right, so I think it's time to close off then. Big thanks again for everybody for watching and tuning in today. We will be back next year for sure. In the meantime, stay tuned for our social media. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Keep an eye out on our Discord channel. I'm sure we're gonna have a winter series as well later on in the winter, probably somewhere around January, February. Nothing is confirmed yet, so keep an eye out on the channels, and I'm sure you'll find something to do over the winter. Until then, I guess just take care, have a fun holiday season, and enjoy yourselves. From us, my name is Felix van Delft, and together with Alex Skinner. Have a good one and goodbye.
Hey man, I got that new 10 Max Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play?
Yeah, I play first.
I'll race you for it.
Well, I have